So Walter right now is more unstable than we've ever seen him.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we don't know when Peter's coming back, but we know he is coming back. How is that going to affect his mental state? Will he have some part of him that feels a connection?
It depends, and it depends on whether Walter acknowledges the feeling to start with. That's very important, isn't it? Because he's obviously terrified at this stage. Terrified. We've seen him in here, absolutely petrified, and in a very unstable state, and that continues for a while. Somewhere down the track there will be stabilisation, because right now he's just a loony. You know.
Yeah.
There has to be a stabilisation somewhere. I think the interesting thing about the first couple of episodes is that we see a shift in the relationship with Olivia and Astrid from Walter, and so that they become much more hands-on caretakers, whereas before it was Peter who always took Walter's side. So that's been very interesting for me to play, even though the character can't really reach out to anyone. But as we go on, you'll see elements of that developing, those relationships. And this all happens before, we have to face the Peter issue, and before indeed we have to face the Waterman issue.
Okay.
And I think you'll find there's a couple of really interesting episodes coming up. I mean, I think they're excellent episodes coming up.
There's an episode where Walter attempts to leave the lab for the first time in a long time. Can you tease a little bit about how that goes? Does he actually make it out the door?
Well, he does, and I love that episode. To be honest with you, it brings Olivia and Walter very close, and they go through an enormous adventure together. And Walter is. Bear in mind that Walter is unstable. He's constantly being watched by the authorities. He could go back to St. Clair's at any time. That's the fact, So if he's seen as being too unstable and unnecessary, in other words, unless he remains a genius that can solve things, he's back to St. Clair's. So he's petrified of all sorts of things. He's petrified of these visions because he thinks he's going mad. He's petrified of not doing his job well enough because he'll go back in. He doesn't know who to talk to. So the episode where he does go out is to prove a point. It's to say, look, I'm all right. Whether he is or not, you'll see. But that's why he does it. He's so scared. He's so scared. Poor old fella.
And before Peter comes back, I mean, Lincoln stepped in, and in a way I feel like he could be a surrogate son for Walter, if Walter takes that initiative.
Seth and I have talked about this a bit. It can't happen too quickly because obviously there's a stranger comes into the lab. At least Walter lets him in the lab, and at least Walter talks to him.
Right.
And there's a little bit of humour there when I call him Kennedy on Friday night. These sorts of things start to come into play. He's not Walter's son. It will never be that beautiful emotional entanglement that you've got in season 1, 2. It can't be that. That might happen again later with Peter. Maybe. I don't know this. But if Walter acknowledges that is his son from a different dimension, who knows? But no, I think he may learn to respect Seth's character and sort of use him as a sidekick a bit, like he did with Astrid.
Right.
But not the same as Astrid, because he loved Astrid so much. He did, and he still does. But I still remember some of those scenes that Jessica and I played, just so beautiful. When she got dashed up in Chinatown and when she came in and cried. Very sad.
Yeah.
One of my favourite episodes. So doesn't it?
You see Walter and Olivia's relationship shifting when Peter comes back? Are they going to maybe lean on each other more?
That's an interesting question. It's a very interesting question. If in fact Walter has become totally reliant on Olivia, and I think you saw in the first episode there, she's the one that calms him. When he comes out of the tank and he's crazy, she comes up and says, Walter, settle. And he listens to her. So there's obviously something very, very strong there. And he's become reliant on her. It's almost like, I don't know, it's like a love affair but not a love affair. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very strong. So what will happen if Peter comes back into their lives? How will Walter react to another person taking her attention if that happens? So I've got all those interesting, strange things to play with, those emotions which could potentially happen of jealousy and anger and being offside, because you're being ignored, all those things that happen to us in life, in a relationship. I'm not saying I've played them, but my mind races around this stuff, you know. Instead of taking the simple lines on it, I think, how would I feel if that happened? This person I've been relying on is suddenly giving her attention to someone else. How would I feel, you know? So I go through all those processes and then try to build them in when it's appropriate into the characters, and who threatens my existence. And obviously I've decided that sex doesn't.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's a start. Thank you.